All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 3. That is right, week number 3 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Austin, and things are going to be a little different this week. My recording software is glitching, and it's actually got me completely discombobulated. I've now been working for the past 3 hours trying to get the check-in video recorded, and what I'm gonna have to do is do two check-in videos, a part one and a part two. Part one is going to be the state of the course update, and then there's going to be a second check-in video, but I'll keep them all in the same announcement. Check-in video part two is going to be 2 common APA mistakes. There is an advantage, though, to those of you who have had me in a class before. Most of you, this is your first time having me in a class, but for those of you who have had me in a class before, the good thing is that APA 2 common mistakes spiel, that's something that I do in every single class. So you won't have to, if you've had me in a class before, basically you already know what I'm going to say in that video. And so you can go ahead and just watch this state of the course update check-in video and bypass the second video because you already know about the 2 common APA mistakes. There's a good chance that you made those 2 common APA mistakes. But for those of you who have not had me before, I do recommend that you watch that second check-in video as well about the 2 common APA mistakes because I'm going to have a whole spiel on what basically happens. People overestimate their competency with APA, and so it happens every single semester where I have usually on average between 5 and 8 students, I kid you not, who just they think I tell people every semester, hey, you probably don't know these things if you haven't mastered APA, so go ahead and watch this because I will be counting off for these things onto assignments. And one of those assignments is going to be the virtual reference practice paper. And I tell people, yeah, go ahead and watch it so you don't make those mistakes and you don't lose those points. And then people don't watch, they overestimate their skills with APA. They make the exact same mistakes that I tell them not to make. They lose points, they get pissed at me, but at the same time, then they go back, watch the video, and then they've actually learned what they need to do. So with that said, I'll get more into that with that second check-in video, or part two of the check-in video for this week. But again, I'm sorry that I'm having to do it this way instead of having one video, but that's my check-in video recording software. ScreenPal is not working properly. And so I've submitted a ticket, and hopefully by the time that we have another check-in video in week 5, hopefully that issue will be resolved. Now, you heard me say week 5, so that's the first thing that we need to do as far as state of the course update. I need to remind you all that we will not have a check-in video next week because we're going to have a sync session next week, February the 10th, from 7 to 8:30 Central Time, and it is mandatory for both sections. Everything's mandatory. But what you will need to do is, instead of saying that, what we are going to do is we are going to be hosting Jamie Livingston from the Wolfner Library in Jefferson City, Missouri, and Jamie is going to talk about services to the blind and the visually impaired. So the Wolfner Library, which is based in our state capital, that actually serves people all over the state. They mail materials and things like that to people from all over the state. And basically, yes, they have different things like screen readers and things like that they just a lot of neat stuff that she'll be talking about, but things that we do in order to assist our patrons who are blind and visually impaired, get library services to them and that sort of thing. Because one thing that I want you all to be thinking about, even though she's going to be focused on one specific disability, which is the blind and visually impaired, I want you all to be thinking about all people who have disabilities and need accommodations, because that is a part of being inclusive. A big part of inclusivity is making things accessible even to people who have disabilities that cause them to not be able to access things that I don't want to, that the abled, and I hate using that term. If there's a more appropriate term, let me know. But the quote unquote able, that they are able to, because they don't have those same disabilities. For instance, I'm not a visually impaired person, and so I wouldn't need things like Braille or anything like that. But she talks about these services and these things that we use in order to assist our library patrons who actually need accommodations for them. And I think that's really important. A lot of times when you talk about DEI, we think a lot about gender and sexuality and race and religion and those sorts of things. But people with disabilities need services, and we don't want to be so ableist that we are forgetting to provide services and make accommodations to those who maybe can't see that well, or maybe can't hear that well, or maybe can't get around that well physically. They're not as mobile, things of that nature. We want to make sure that we are doing everything we can for everybody, to a reasonable extent. Don't let people walk all over you, but that's not what the blind or the deaf or the otherwise disabled are trying to do. They're not trying to get over on us at all. They just want to be included. They want the same services that everybody else gets, and they deserve the same services that everybody gets. We need to be caring, and we are a caring profession. And so, even though Jamie is going to be focused on services to the blind and the visually impaired, I want you to be also thinking about how important it is to provide services and accommodations to, again, the hearing impaired, or those who are not as mobile as others, and that sort of thing. So, yes, and attendance is going to be mandatory, and for both sections, attendance is mandatory. But I think that you will enjoy what Jamie has to say. Jamie is a wonderful presenter, and she loves engaging with our students and everything. And so I think that this will be a growth opportunity for all of us, which is what we all need. So that's the thing about the sync session, and the lack of a check-in video for next week. I don't do check-in videos on weeks that we have a sync session. All right, the next thing that we are going to talk about with the state of the course update, and again, I hate that I can't pause this, but the virtual reference practice paper that is going to be upcoming, and so I'm not going to go into this too much because I did speak about it at pretty good length on the first sync session that we had. But just know that this is going to be due on Sunday, February 15th. If you have any questions about the prompt or anything about how to turn the assignment in or anything of that nature, any questions about the assignment, by all means reach out to me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you're having problems with your partner, including problems getting in touch with your partner, and I'm going to say something more about that in a few minutes, but if you're having problems with your partner in any way, again, just inform me of that. I don't want you all to stress out about this. So sometimes it is hard to get up with partners for one reason or another. And if you're experiencing that, then by all means, just get up with me and I will try to intervene as best as possible. And if you aren't able to get up with your partner at all, if they become completely unresponsive, that has happened. That actually happens probably at least once a semester. If something like that happens to you again, just reach out to me and I will give you some guidance on what to do instead, because you do need a partner in order to complete this assignment. And so if your partner's not working with you, then a lot of students become panicked and like, Dr. Jakes, I don't know what to do. My partner isn't even apparently checking their email or anything. And I'm just like, nah, I got you covered. Don't worry. You're not going to suffer just because your partner isn't living up to what they're supposed to do. Now, having said that, I do need to put a reminder out here. And I'm going to just make an announcement that has the heading as a reminder as well. But announcements, it is mandatory to read the announcements. And so when it comes to, and I've got a similar, this is section 1, but I've got a similar announcement in section 2. The actual wording is actually the same. It's just that the partner assignments are going to be different because your classmates are different, of course. But one thing that I want to say here is, again, the reading the announcements is mandatory, even if accessing the optional content, such as accessing the check-in videos are optional content. But even if the accessing the optional content is, of course, optional, reading the text of the announcement is not. And so one thing that I know is that if you did not do the not everybody did the introductory post that you were supposed to do per what I said in the announcement. So if you did not do the introduction post, then that is, first of all, I couldn't accommodate you as far as linking you up with who would be your best possible partner for this assignment. But then also, if you didn't do the introductions post, I know that you are not reading the announcements like you're supposed to, because if you were, then, and you had plenty of time, I gave you 2 weeks to go ahead and do that intro post. That should be more than enough time, because again, you're supposed to be logging into the class hopefully at least twice a week, if not more. So in 2 weeks, if you did not do the introductory post, then I know again you didn't read the announcements. And so all I'm going to say to that is, without actually trying to scold you, what I'm going to say is, a lot of people who don't read the announcements like they're supposed to, and this is why I made it mandatory in my syllabi, is because again, that's my main form of communication with you all. But if you're not reading those announcements like you have been told to, a lot of times what happens is those people who don't read the announcements, they end up missing pertinent information that will end up affecting their grade. There's something that I say in an announcement, and all the people who read the announcements like the syllabus requires, they end up doing what is required of them. And then those people that don't read them, they miss important things, their grades suffer, then they want to be mad at me. I can hold you accountable to anything that is in the syllabus. By taking this class, you have agreed to abide by the syllabus. So by taking this class, you have agreed to read the announcements. And so if you miss that information, what I'm going to say to you is, I'm sorry. I communicated this in the announcement. Your classmates did as they were instructed to do. You didn't. I don't know what else to say. So yes, to save all of us some trouble, please read the announcements as I have told you all to do so. But yes, so if you are unable to, as far as reaching out, first of all, go ahead and reach out to your partner now. Go ahead and do that now. Because people's schedules, you don't know how busy your partner is. And again, you've got 2 weeks to sort of do this. So you can use the directory to look your partner up, but if you are unable to find your partner in the directory, and I know there are at least 2 of you who have emailed me about that, saying my partner is unlisted. I saw your emails, and I'm going to get to your emails by Tuesday night / Wednesday morning. So by February the 4th, I will send a message linking you to your partner. And I apologize that you weren't able to find your partner in the directory, but I'm not going to have you all dangling too long. So for those of you who have already emailed about that, I've been screwing with this recording software all night, and it's had me in a tizzy. But once I get that corrected, I'll get back on my emails, and I'll make sure that I get you linked up with your partner so that you have plenty of time to do the synced part of the assignment and be able to turn the assignment in on time. I'm looking out for you all. I really am. I like you all. I want everybody to be successful. So yes, please just know that I'm getting to you as quickly as I can, and I would have gotten to you a little quicker if my recording software were cooperating. Okay, so that's the other piece. There are 2 more things that I need to mention with the state of the course update, and then we'll be done with that. So the next thing to mention with the state of the course update is just really quickly, the unassignments for the most part are complete. There are a few that are not in yet, because I know that some of you might be like, well, hey, I turned mine in on time. Why is Dr. J saying that not everybody has turned theirs in on time? I get it. When people have done their work on time, they don't want to hear that other people are getting accommodations. But there really is something going around out in Columbia. That's because some of my coworkers have been affected by that as well. And I live actually in the Kansas City area, so it hasn't affected me. But yes, some of your classmates have been sick, but for the most part, everybody has turned in their database unassignments, and I'll be attempting to grade those throughout the week. And these will be up all semester. So just to refresh your memory, sorry, this is going to go over 15 minutes, but again, I hope you sped it up. But so these will be up through the semester. And what I mentioned in the sync session is that this is peer-to-peer learning, right? So basically, now that they're up, you can learn about the different databases. What I want you to do is read at some point. You don't have to do it this week. Some of you are too busy to do it this week, and I understand. That's okay. That's why they're going to be up all semester. If you do have a week within the semester where you have some downtime, that's when I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and look at the submissions that your classmates did. You should be able to read them within 2 to 5 minutes each. And, this is just a quick way to get some introductory information about these various databases. And so, again, that's peer-to-peer learning. And now that these have been published, now you have between now and the rest of the semester to just review what your classmates have done. And hopefully that will be a great way for you to, again, just learn a little bit more about these databases. And I'm going to be talking about the databases in future check-in videos, provided that my software is cooperating with me, okay? So, yes, hopefully that will be resolved and be resolved soon. And the last thing that I want to just bring up here is that we are. Ooh, what is the last thing that I wanted to bring up? So there's that, there's that. And this is why I wish I could pause, because I don't want you all to have to sit here as I'm brain farting. Okay, that's the last part for the state of the course update, is just this prompt I feel is pretty self-explanatory, but I did just want to say really quick that this is the 2-week prompt that we have, where you post one post 1 week and then one post the next week. So you should have already posted something by February 1st. However, it is okay if you didn't. I am not going to grade these until after February 8th, after the due date. So if you, for one reason or another, missed your first, and some of you did, and that's okay. If you missed your first post by February the 1st, just make sure that you do 2 this week and get your 2 by the end of the week, so by February 8th. My weeks end on Sunday night. Okay, so by February 8th, get your 2 posts up. But most of you already do have your first post up as the directions required of you. But again, it is okay if you did not. Just make sure you have to double up this week, whereas those of you who did your first post that first week, you don't have to double up. You just have to do 1 post this week, and then you'll be good to go. But everybody have 2 posts for this prompt up by midnight on Sunday night, okay? And there's a little grace period with that. I'm not gonna, if you don't have it up at 12:05 a.m., I'm not gonna be like, oh, gotcha, and then deduct points. That's not how I do. Really, as long as you get it up before Monday morning, when I am ready to go in and make sure that everybody did it, as long as you get it up by sometime Monday morning, you're pretty much going to be okay. All right. I'm not going to be waiting around at my computer at midnight so that I can pull some gotcha on you. That's just unnecessary. All right. So that is it for the state of the course update. Again, I hope you sped it up. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. You are encouraged to ask questions, you all. Even if I might seem a little short, to be honest with you, that's just kind of my personality. But I really do want you all to feel comfortable asking me questions and that sort of thing. So if you have a question, just reach out to me, send me a Canvas message, preferably, or an email, and I will help you out. That's what we are going to do. This is a two-way relationship between me and my class, and I actually do enjoy being of service to you all. So again, just go ahead and reach out. Okay. All right. So that's it for the state of the course update video, and from here there will be a part 2. And part 2, the second video, will be those 2 common APA mistakes. All right. I'll see you in part 2.